So how to actually stick to learning cybersecurity. Now, I feel like I could talk all day about this. There's so much to say here. I'm going to try to keep it brief enough for you guys. But yeah, we'll get right into it. What's up, guys? This is Ryan from elevatecyber. I've been reading the comments recently, and I know that there's a number of people that, and understandably so, might struggle with like a lack of motivation, or they're kind of wondering, how do you stay consistent? We understand the importance of the consistency part, but how do you actually stick to learning cybersecurity? I think that many people, first of all, I think many people will follow, especially in this area of the internet, they will fall into being a little bit too rigid in their learning, in terms of like a bit too one-dimensional, if you will. Because, I think a lot of people that are drawn to this field are more on the logical side of things. So, they see these different training platforms and resources out there, and make no mistake, there are tons and tons of resources. And I think that a lot of people, they start to believe that they need to go through all of these resources to start, and it just seems really intimidating and daunting. I think that's one of the challenges here, because you have so many different platforms, right? Like you have TryHackMe, you have Hack the Box, you have, I'm not even going to get into the certifications, right? You have so many different certs that people say, oh, you need this cert, you need that cert. And I mean, all those things, they just stack up, and to a newcomer especially, it could seem really overwhelming, and it could be hard to stay motivated, where it's like, wow, man, I have this much to go. Like, I don't have this cert, I don't have that cert, I never read this book or that book, I don't know how to do this. How do I even start, And let's just take a step back for a moment, right? And honestly, when it comes to cybersecurity, this is not one of those fields where it's like, okay, you might hate this, but the only way to be successful is to follow, get good at this area, right? You could literally choose any niche within cybersecurity for the most part, and you'll find a good amount of, it'll be pretty lucrative for you to excel in that, right? You could go down the web app side, right? Niche down there, and there's a lot of, potential success you could get in terms of monetary compensation, right? In terms of getting a solid job or doing whatever you want with that, right? Even opportunities to make money through bug bounties and stuff like that, right? Where you can make money independent of a 9-to-5. And then you look at completely different niches within cybersecurity. When I say cybersecurity, I'm more talking about the offensive side, of course, as we do on this channel. You could go into like binary exploitation and stuff like that, and you could be a security researcher, and that is a very lucrative position as well. And so what you'll find is almost every single niche within offensive security, you can find it will be lucrative for you, right? And so you have so much more freedom, right? You don't have to follow a certain path that someone else laid out for you. You can go and start to dip your toes in these different areas. And look, there is no gatekeeping anything in this industry, really. I mean, there's certain things that are nice to haves. Like, if you want to get into pen testing, then offensive security certs like OSCP, nice to have, for sure, nice to have. Even some of the eLearn ones are getting up there. They're getting even better now. And those are things that, they're nice to have, but can you get a job without them? Absolutely. Yes, for sure. And even with, I would say with a lot of these training platforms, will TryHackMe benefit you? Yeah, it'll probably benefit you a lot, especially in the early days. But do you have to go through all these TryHackMe rooms in order to learn this stuff? No. Different people learn differently, right? And it's nice to be able to say, hey, try this resource, try that resource. But the reality of the matter is that not all people are going to learn the same way or be drawn to the same thing. So for example, if you try to lose weight, right? You probably know a lot of people. I like to make the fitness analogies because I think there's a lot of correlation here. But you probably know a lot of people that went on some extreme, crazy diet, right? They lost all this weight, and then a month later, they gained it all back. Now, why is that? Well, adherence was the issue, right? They basically set themselves up for failure from the beginning because they tried to follow this super strict diet that they hated, right? They hated it, and it was work, and maybe they had a lot of discipline. Maybe they had even more discipline. They went a few months with it, and then eventually they reverted back. The key here is that they set themselves up for failure because they tried to adhere to something that they, quite frankly, they hated, right? Now, discipline is definitely very important, and I'm not going to devalue the importance of discipline. It is very important. However, you should at least set yourself up to win. So adherence is the key. So translating this over to our situation here with cybersecurity, if you are trying to learn cybersecurity, but you're forcing yourself to learn it in a way that you hate, that you can't stand, maybe you will have the discipline to learn it for a while, but ultimately you will always end up quitting in the long run. And then you'll feel like crap that you stop learning cybersecurity, and then you'll get back on the wagon. It'll just be a cycle, and you'll be kind of spinning your tires, not really getting much of anywhere, right? So how do we actually combat that? Well, we change our how we're going about learning this, right? And here's where it comes down to you. You just got to kind of know yourself. What do you like? Think about the things that you've gotten very good at, things that you consider yourself good at, right? Well, chances are you actually enjoy doing those things. And when you're practicing those things, you're having fun, right? And so that is something that's really easy to adhere to. Thus, you put in more practice without even thinking of it as practice, chances are. And as a result, you got better at it. So that is what you want to apply to cybersecurity. So maybe you're the type of person that, kind of like myself, you don't like super structured environments where people tell you exactly what to do. Like you find going through exercises and books to generally be pretty boring, going through courses to be a drag, right? Well, what you can do is you can spend more time in maybe your own labs. Maybe you create your own vulnerabilities that you can exploit. I make a lot of those videos on this channel, and I have a lot of fun making those. Maybe you can start your own blog site where you're blogging about certain vulnerabilities, and you get to choose whatever topics you want to cover and whatever you want to dig into deeper. Maybe you want to go for something that might seem a little bit out of reach, something more that would seem a bit difficult for you at your current level. Maybe you want to go into some bug bounties or something like that that's generally considered more difficult. But if it's something that you are very interested in, even if it's a little bit out of your reach now, I'd say go for it because you're going to be more motivated naturally to figure it out, and you're going to learn a ton along the way. If you're doing any of these things, you're going to learn so much along the way. For example, if you're creating your own lab, not only are you going to learn about the vulnerabilities that you are exploiting, but you're going to learn a lot about the IT side of things, maybe even the development side of things if it requires a little bit of coding for you to set it up. For example, when I'm making my API exploitation videos, I'm learning about developing APIs. I'm learning about the coding side of things. And it's just constant learning. And is it harder than if I would have just, did a course on how to exploit an API? It's definitely harder because I got to put this all together myself, but there's also more learning opportunity. And I don't mind the fact that it's harder because it's something that I enjoy. I don't really like courses. I don't really, to be completely transparent with you guys, I don't really care for certifications that much because I just find it so boring to study for them. Now, with that being said, I think OSCP was the most fun I've ever had with a certification because of how hands-on it is, and it's actually pretty practical and things like that. But still, I like to go out and I like to do things on my own. I like to be in charge of like what I'm doing, right? I like to have control over that, and so that's my learning style personally. That's how I like to learn. And if you're like me, then maybe in all you've ever done were tutorials and courses and things like that, maybe you want to expand outside of that and see, right? If you find it more interesting to do things that way, then keep doing it that way, because you're going to end up getting more practice as you enjoy the stuff more. And, through that adherence, through that practice, you're going to get better. This is very much a compound effect thing, right? You might learn, just a tiny bit each day, but over a span of like 3 months, over a span of a year, 3 years, you will have learned so much. And that's really how it is. Like, there's so much to learn in this area, right? There's an infinite amount of stuff to learn, to be completely honest. So a lot of it comes down to just, accumulating that knowledge with the experience, of course, right? And that's where I really have to highlight with experience part of that, right? Because there's also, I think, a lot of people that they get caught in the tutorial hell, in the course hell, where all they do is they just consume information on something, right? They take courses, but those courses are very theoretical, and they're not very practical, right? And so they just keep hoarding all this knowledge of stuff they never apply. So they never actually solidify the concept in their mind, because they don't get hands-on, and they don't actually put their hands on the keyboard and actually apply this stuff. So that's actually very important. Maybe I should have even led with that, because you need to be applying this stuff. So don't just, if you like to watch my content, don't just come here and watch this stuff and then not go out and use some of it for yourself. Anytime I look at a book or a course or anything like that, I like to deal with it as like a reference. Like, okay, I'm going to learn the key parts that I need to learn, but as quickly as possible, I want to get out of this course. I want to get out of this book and start making my own stuff with it, right? If it's a coding book, right? I might want to, for example, I bought a database course on Udemy for like a MySQL, and it's like, I just quickly, at 2x speed, saw what I need to see to build the app that I wanted to build. And as quickly as possible, I just started building the app. And if there was something I forgot, I just referenced how to make the query or how to create whatever I was trying to create in the video. And I was like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. And then I went back to coding. So that's just one such example of how you can, you really want to be practical with this stuff and hands-on, because, you can learn about the theory all day, but if you never apply it, then you're never really going to know it, right? In language learning, you can learn all of the most frequent words in a given language, but if you never see those words in context, you never use those words in conversation, you're not going to really know the words. You're not going to really understand the words. It's kind of like that. It's pretty much exactly like that in cybersecurity as well. You could know all the concepts, right? How many people do you know that are like executives and, high up people in security orgs in companies that they know the lingo, but they don't actually know much about the actual vulnerability, because they don't know what it looks like hands-on. They just know the buzzwords, and they say buzzwords, and they know like conceptually maybe a little bit, but they don't truly understand it. If you showed them like a hands-on thing, they wouldn't be able to do it, right? And the type of learning like that, of learning for the sake of learning, I think it has a place. Like, the theoretical knowledge has a time, has a place, but you don't want that to be the majority of your learning. Maybe 20%, if you so choose, 20% can be dedicated to that, but 80% should be actually applying the stuff that you're learning, hitting your head against the wall and struggling some of these times, and figuring it out. Because a lot of times, even though it sucks to struggle at some of this stuff, almost every single time when you do, once you figure it out, you'll end up learning way more than you ever would have bargained for, right? You probably wouldn't have looked up some of the things you had to look up when you hit these issues, and that's going to cause you to learn so much more. And you keep doing that over time, you will be shocked at how much you learn. So hopefully this video helped you guys with this topic here. I know it can be kind of tricky, but find what works for you, most definitely. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button as well. And if you're interested in applying what you learn here, check out what you need to know for OSCP so you can get right to applying this stuff. After you watch that video though, go out and apply the stuff, right? I would love for you to just watch my videos, help me in the algorithm, but I want you guys to apply this stuff. So yeah, go ahead and check out those videos right now, and I'll see you right over there. Thanks for watching.